Hey everybody, this is day 22 of a 100-day monk mode challenge, and things are going up and down during this monk mode in terms of business in agency, in terms of my personal state, and honestly, I'll make a quick intro for a minute or two so you can skip right to the insights. The state that I'm in right now, yesterday and today, is like I do not want to see much people. I want to close up and deal with my own problems first. And it's weird, when you have guests coming over, you don't want to talk much to people outside because you have problems in the business and inside of your head that you're dealing with. Also, I created a little bit of a physical stupid problem. So I'm obsessed, as all these people nowadays, with health and stuff, and I got too much into that I found a tea at my parents' house that was like green and really tasty. It's called sage tea, if you know what I mean. And I kept drinking that for around 2 weeks or something, and it's healthy actually. But it's healthy for your gums, but not for your gut. You cannot drink that because you might deteriorate the gut with the toxic toxin that is called toujon, or I don't know, French or something. It causes so it irritates the stomach lining, and I wrote down the names of the plants and of the elements. So it caused my really bad feeling for last couple of days. You should not drink this tea, especially not on a regular basis, because you feel nauseous all the time and you feel bad, and your head gets it's really bad. Plus with 4 a.m. wakes up, and it's hard. So I deteriorated my health a little bit, and I felt super bad lately. Didn't want to go on these videos. And another thing that I was considering, still me talking just about things that are going on, is stopping recording these videos. So but I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the video, why I want to stop making these videos. Maybe that's the last one. I haven't decided yet, haven't made a decision. So insight number 1: you should have people in your company who are stressors, who always think what can go wrong. And most often that these are COOs of the companies, and these are people who are pessimists, essentially, naturally, and they are proactive, so they take initiative instead of you later, and they are fixing all the impossible problems that may happen in business. It's hard for a leader to control everything, to see all the details of the process and be expert in all the niches. So COO might see more details, more things in a day, and if he's proactive and if he thinks of what can go wrong, it's really good COO. Often when I'm talking to my clients, the ones who I consider to be wise people, they would always ask if I see any other problems with their product or any other opportunities that can be fixed. They are asking everybody, and if they are taking these fragments out from everywhere they can pull it from, to make sure that their product is 100% awesome, problem-free. Insight 2: creative side of the business and business side are the hardest ones to combine. You have to switch between these modes. Another problem, I acknowledge that. So I have to manage the creative part of the business, and I have to manage the business part. And these are really hard to combine. Business part for me is often about staying organized, punctual, being great manager, and most importantly, seeing these problems and seeing the stress moments and living under stress, under constant stress. On the other hand, it's really hard to create under stress. When you start to create in the design, thinking about marketing strategy or branding ideas, you cannot do that under stress. And if you're doing that, it comes out really crappy and really as if somebody's pushing you to do that. So it's not strategically wise. So there are two options. Option number one is two different people can handle this process, and option number two, you have to have separate time blocks or days for these roles and really change the hat and be okay with changing this hat. For me, it's been hard because when I switch on the business mode, I do not have to think about creative stuff. And then I switch to the creative stuff, I should literally almost turn my brain off to just think like a child and not to care about the business stuff and to keep the creative part. And sometimes I'm not able to handle that. That's why I've been thinking of bringing in a partner in business. But I haven't not yet decided which part I like more. Do I like business more? Because strategically, business is much more important. That's money-making skills, and I want to master that. Another part is bringing in creative, but I also love creative, and so I think there are a lot of people who can do creative really great. I just have to find a person like this. And same for business side. I'm considering different people, different partners. It's hard for me to find one. So yes, that's what I've been thinking on, and I haven't yet solved this problem. So if maybe you have thoughts of people you know, piece of advice, I'd be glad to receive them in comments. Insight number 3. You need to know who you're speaking to. People have different level of stress tolerance. Leaders should train themselves for the highest levels of stress tolerance. I have a case. So when you're working with clients in branding, there are different people, different clients, and sometimes you have really hard clients. So the common practice I see with my team and me is sometimes we get like a complex, really hard client who doesn't know what he wants and he's unstable, and we would work with him for 4 months or something. The plan would be for a team member to work with the client, and that's me bragging, I guess, but not. I'm just analyzing the situation. So the team member would work with the client for 2 weeks, 4 months, and they then say, that's a common thing that I see in the niche, and a common complaint that I get from my team is how they're exhausted, how they cannot handle this project anymore, how they are tired of all the comments of client not being organized, of all the changes that are not that are really rapid, weird. So the stress tolerance is low. Well, not low, it's 2 weeks, and 1 month it's a lot of time. But most often I would keep handling the client myself, and I would do that for 4 months, let's say. And that's and same thing would keep happening with me. So the problem obviously we have is lack of systems. We're still putting systems in order. We're not being that transactional, we're not being that strict with clients, so that's our problem. And but I see how I have a higher level of stress tolerance than my team. I don't know if that's good. So the team should also be really stress tolerant. But leaders should have, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a great founder and build a good company, you should have stress tolerance. That's like non-negotiable. And the sad part here is that your stress tolerance should be like multiple times higher than your clients or your team or your competitors. That's the only way to survive. And the saddest part is that nobody cares about your stress tolerance. You can be really weak. That's also okay. Everybody's okay with you not being stress tolerant and being stress tolerant. who's not okay with you is like scale of your business or success or an amount of money. Like your goal is not okay with you not being stress tolerant, because the higher the level at which you can handle stress is, the higher your achievements are. And these are not, they always come together. If you'd be able to achieve great things, you'd have the highest tolerance. That's what athletes do in sport. If they are winning, like they are number one tennis player in the world, obviously they have handled much more matches, much more competitors, much more problems, much more losses, much more trainings and experience. That's logical. And nobody cares. Nobody forced you to be Olympian champion, right? You chose that path, so now you have to be stress tolerant. And I'm talking that much about it because it's hard. In practice, when I'm talking about it, it's easy. It's practice when you have hard calls with clients, when you have hard calls with your team, when you have stress days and you cannot, like, the client is saying that you're bad and leaving you bad reviews, that is messing up with your job success score or with your client flow, when your accounts get banned, when you're losing the money. On the words it's easy. In practice, when you experience that on your own skin, it's pretty hard. So the more this stuff you can handle, the better later you are, and the more far away you'll go. Insight 4. You start to learn that no business is perfect, no talent is perfect, no human is perfect. Yes, all businesses have flaws. When you look under the hood, there are so many imperfections, and sometimes you think, like, how did they even get successful with this level of sales, this level of marketing, this level of something? I recently watched, I talked about that on social media lessons video. I watched Eva Urigen's podcast where she said, so I make $700,000 a month. And I checked out her profile, and the only service they provide is social media content, scripts. They're not even recording the content. The avatars or the recording quality is pretty low, or the editing quality can also be better. There are like so many flaws that I can see in their business, but I see how much money they are making, and I'm like, I understand that they're only focusing on the main thing and they are not. I'm sorry. People decided to mess up my videos, so I have to finish it up with that. So I see a lot of problems with the business, and I wonder how they're making that bunch of money. But while they are strategic, they prioritize more important things than that. So I'm not saying they're bad. I really respect that, because I'm not able to do that. So that's pure envy and admiration at the same time. Insight 5. Transparency, passion, and consistency. These 3 components are only they would give you confidence in the fact that you will succeed as a brand. Transparency, passion, and consistency. If you're transparent about your brand, about your story, about your approach, about how you make a product, about everything, if you're honest, basically, people respect you. If you are passionate about what you do, people see that. And passion is it's infectious. When you are talking with real excitement about your product, everybody else gets interested. And the third one is consistency. If you're consistently passionate, if you're consistently transparent, that's the secret. And the last insight. I have thoughts about finishing this whole insights thing on the YouTube. By that I mean finishing doing that consistently on a daily basis, because it takes up the time, it takes us the effort. It's like a thing, check mark that you have to check, mandatory every day, and it takes up the emotional and cognitive space. Now, there are 2 things, points that I'm considering before making the decision. Logical decision is to quit doing that, because I had a couple of reasons to do the insights. First is to build legitimacy, to show you and the clients that I am serious and my team are serious about building the agency, about branding, that we adore that we are in business for long. Second was to keep activity. So activity shows up the channel and recommends it, and I see the number of followers growing only when we're active. And it's okay, we'll keep posting on the daily basis shorts, and we'll keep posting on the weekly basis quality videos that can be edited. These are better than just me low quality talking to the camera, I think. So these two check marks are already checked, check boxes. And the last goal was to stay consistent, like disciplined, reach these 100 videos of the insights on a daily basis, and that's what I have problem with. So I feel bad as if I'm not disciplined enough, that I can't handle 100 videos, right? And there is the fact that most of the podcasts die after video 20 because it's hard, because it takes time, it takes resources, and people don't have enough acquaintances or friends to over 20 to record videos. And day 22 is really close to the day 20 of the podcast, and I'm like, maybe that's just a crisis, maybe that's the benchmark, and stats are working here, and maybe on the day 23 I'll be super happy to keep going. So for now I'll keep going, and so that's on the logical part. It makes sense for me, apart from the ego, to stop, because it's not bringing in results, it's taking up the time. I should be focusing on other things in monk mode, and I don't have a rule for monk mode to record video daily. There is no such rule. On the other part, I'm thinking, people who are that passionate about the thing that they're doing, who are that delusional, only those make it. And recording 20 videos and quitting is making me ordinary, and I'm not. So that's a decision for now. I'll keep going. I'll see whether that will bring me results, let's say, in 10 more videos. We'll see on video 30. Will it be useful or will it be not for you and me? These are all the insights for today. I have to go and finish preparing portfolio keys for the Instagram and for Behance today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.